Hello folks, this is Steve A. before you. Nothing in this episode is a promotion nor is it a recommendation. I'm going to show you that I think that people get into things that may be over their head and fail to use caution. You'll see what I mean more toward the end. So one of my tabs is /dot. Bunch of news today, but the one that caught my eye before I went shopping, hundreds of e-commercial sites hacked in supply chain attack. What's a supply chain attack? The people who are doing the e-commerce site are using some vendor to actually run their stuff on, and or that vendor that where they're allowed to have their e-commerce site is also using other vendors for tools and know-how, specialized programs or functions in order to make their sites so attractive. You can either get directly into the servers of the actual place where you go to buy stuff from different vendors, or they can hack into the people who are supplying specialized code and tools, and when that gets installed to run the site, they attack you. Pardon my frog. This is today. It was posted today, Monday, March 5th. They get it from Ars Technica. Beware of pickpockets and hack sites. Hundreds of e-commerce sites hacked in supply chain. Attack that started in April and remains ongoing. Runs malicious code on visitors' devices. Your browser, on your computer. So it's sitting there and you log in, and as part of that e-commerce vendor, unknown to them because they're such IT security experts, they've been infiltrated, and one of their ordinary interaction to show you stuff on your browser or so you can buy something, they download the bad stuff that installs itself on your computer. And then it's paying attention to anything that you do that has something to do with a bank account. I don't buy from many places online. You already know the main one. There's a reason. Hundreds of e-commerce sites, at least one owned by a large multinational company, were backdoored by malware that executes malicious code inside of browsers, your browser, of visitors, where it can steal payment card information and other sensitive data. Security researchers said Monday. They didn't say it on Monday. This article is already deceptive. They didn't say it today, or maybe they meant last Monday. That's not deceptive, but they don't make that clear. We'll see. It's specifically from the security firm Sansec. May 1st, 2025. That's not today. That's not Monday. So if this is published on May 1st, then the site I just came from is being, oh, well, the writers don't know anything about security and you have to make it look good. Has to make it look like we're really on the ball. Bleeping computer. Today's May 5th. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of news about that was posted today, but I'm scrolling down to an article that I read on May 2nd, the day after SANSEC published their blog about what they found. The day after, not 4 days later. It's a matter of priorities, you know. It all depends on what our freelance writers decide they're going to feed us. You have to make a distinction. Are you interested in security or are you interested in being amused? There's a hell of a difference. Magento supply chain attack compromises hundreds of e-stores. This is the same story. And they name the same people, and they're showing the same chart. And this is the senior security editor at Ars Technica. He oversees coverage of malware, computer rescue. You can follow him on Mastodon and Blue Sky. You can contact him by Signal. He's in San Francisco. He's 4 days late. Of course, he may have been pumping out more important articles. I'm not going to review. That's why you want to go to Bleeping Computer first if you want it as soon as it comes up if it's really important. Now, what did I read back on the 2nd of May? Essentially the same thing because they're rewriting what was on here. So as I was scrolling down, it names SANSEC says the compromised extensions are from vendors. So these e-commerce sites, which are running MagnaCart or something like that, Magento extensions, the extensions are written by various people, specialized presumably. You can rent them, you can use them, you pay to make your e-commerce site the way you want it to be, running on that Magento something site. So it says the extensions come from 3 vendors. TIGREN, MEETANSHI, and MGS. Now, when I read this article back on the 2nd, I was actually kind of curious. We assume they're talking about e-commerce for the United States. And this may be what it's talking about. But when I looked up who the vendors for these backdoored extensions that have malware in them that apparently these vendors supposedly don't know about, it was snuck in behind their backs. How did that happen? Don't they have security? Don't they check their own code to see if it's been modified? That's on the assumption that they didn't use a poisoned library to start with. So let's see who these people are. And that's where I decided I would make, several days ago, that I would most likely would make a video about this. There's their e-commerce site. We not only build websites and apps for e-commerce stores, we build their future. We are Tigrin, over 10 years of experience in e-commerce development. I'm not going to go to their website. They are selling browser extensions and code extensions that are poisoned with malware. Why would I go to their site? Unless I'm stupid. Yes, stupid. But we can go to LinkedIn. They're on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is Microsoft. They have, it's $1 trillion company. Microsoft's $1 trillion company. They have heavily invested in malware detection. Presumably it's on LinkedIn too, the malware detection. Well, this Chagrin Information Technology Services, I'm doing this for a reason. Oh, Shazam! It's in Hanoi, Vietnam. Commie Vietnam. Commie Vietnam. Currently celebrating the end of the Vietnam War and the unification of Vietnam, where the commies took over everything and really beat down on the Catholic-dominated South. You know, when I was in college in the 1980s, grad school, I was in a department and I took some classes, graduate level class in agriculture. And I remember in one class there were 2 Vietnamese guys. One of them, who had a Christian name, eventually became an endowed professor at that very same place where he got his degree in Bachelor of Science in agriculture before he went on to get a PhD and then really show his brilliance and become a big deal in soybean breeding. He was very quiet. He was brilliant. I would say it would take 3 or 4 of me to be as brilliant as he was. I'm not kidding. But the other Vietnamese guy was always very quiet. And he was big deal on the commies. It's interesting that there'd be a refugee from Vietnam that was big on Ho Chi Minh taking over everything. Why'd he leave? And he didn't have a Catholic name. I'm just remembering. They were classmates in the same department. It's not like they were strangers that I met once. So should you be buying e-commerce stuff from commie Vietnam? Well, as a matter of fact, Vietnam is on that list of high tariffs because according to the actual numbers, what they earn, Vietnam earns shipping as goods of various kinds to the United States of various kinds for what they buy in exchange from as American goods is literally a ratio of 100 to 1. They don't buy anything from us. They buy whatever they need somewhere else. So the trade imbalance is literally almost 100% in one direction. Oh, I'm off the topic. Why would I buy e-commerce stuff from a commie country? Especially Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh Trail. Excuse me. Let's look at the other names. Oh, wait a minute. We forgot to look at one of the most important aspects. They have 307 followers. They have 10 years of experience. And they have all of 31 employees. Now, I'm sure they're all really smart, but those 31 employees, how many of them are devoted to continuous security monitoring of their very own stuff? How many people do you think at Microsoft are totally involved in security of the Microsoft websites themselves? Never mind the products. How about Amazon? Do you think Amazon's got thousands of people who are constantly engaged in trying to find the bad guys trying to do things on the Amazon sites and web servers and cloud servers? How many do they have, these people in Hanoi, the North? Excuse me. I'm showing my age. Remember, before I was retired, I've been involved in one or two pretty significant security vulnerability situations. So let's get another name. Meat Anshi. Is that Japanese? I don't know. Meat Anshi. There's their website. Now, I'm looking at the picture over here. He's got a red dot on his forehead. He's a Hindu. He's a Hindu. I can see the red dot. It's a caste dot. If you don't know what that is, you better look it up. I had a first roommate in the dorm, freshman year, college. He was a Brahmin. You've heard of them, right? That's the highest caste. Go look it up. So I'm going to say they're in India. Magento 2 extensions. Mitanshi offers 3 days of menstrual leave for females. It's right there. Oh, they're very progressive in the Western sense. They are big in Adobe Commerce Marketplace. Oh, but let's go to LinkedIn, where at least I'll assume there's security. There it is, IT services, IT consulting, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. Gujarat state is the northwestern most state in India. In the partition of the Raj, when the British got out, into Pakistan, West Pakistan, East Pakistan, and India, the Gujarat area was kind of cut in half. So the southern shore of Pakistan is also a Gujarati ethnic area, but it's in Pakistan. I go to physical therapy, and my physical therapist is a Gujarati who was born in southern India. What does that mean? See, I'm just telling you I know what I'm talking about. It means at home they spoke Gujarati even though they were down in Tamil Nadu. What language do they speak in Tamil Nadu? Mainly Tamil. Is there any relationship at all between Gujarati, the language, and Tamil, the language? No, they're in completely different language groups. The Gujaratis are in the Aryan, oh yes, Aryan language group. Let's see if I know what I'm talking about. See how my mind wanders? Is Gujarati similar to Hindi? See, somebody else asked. Well, Hindi's are literally a next door language. Yes, Gujarati and Hindi are similar but not mutually intelligible. While they share a vast amount of vocabulary and grammar, they have distinct sounds and some words with different meanings. Many Gujarati speakers can understand Hindi and vice versa due to I want to tell you about things that have happened in my life. So I was up in Greensboro, and they invited me to be the first test subject. An Israeli company in the invited there to use some of the patients like me, outpatients, to try on a device they had developed. And it was an Israeli and a guy from a Hindi-speaking part of India. I'm trying to think of the name of the city. Excuse me. And they put it on me, and they were talking. And what it was is the Israeli engineer was there to train this Indian guy who was here in the States permanently. His name was Dweep. And the Israeli was actually from a Moshav area close to where I was for a year in Israel long ago. And I'm listening to them talking, and I understood what kind of background the Israeli had based on his accent in English. He clearly, his parentage was either Polish or Ukrainian, based on his accent in English and how he must have spoken Hebrew. Yeah, there are accents in Hebrew in Israel, depending on where your people came from. And I'm listening to Dweep. Hang on. Excuse me, I love to do this. See, there's Gujarat right there. And oh yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of it. See, they've changed the names. So Dweep grew up in the Mumbai area. So I'm listening to them talk while they're doing the stuff with me, taking measurements, and the Israeli is kind of breaking him in because he's going to go back, and the Indian guy is going to be going and doing the same thing they're doing to me at several hospitals in the United States where they've been invited to do that, to gather data and stuff like that. So at the end of it, yeah, I'm telling you this so that you understand how I read these articles and why I have the kinds of opinions I do. So at the very end, when they were finishing up, I said, Dweep, do you mind if I ask you a question? Now remember, he said he's from Mumbai. That's all he told me. I said, Dweep, what language did you speak at home growing up in Mumbai? Because that's a Hindi area. And he said, oh, Gujarati. I said, oh, that explains your accent. Why are you speaking Gujarati if you were born in Mumbai? He said, oh, my family migrated there. But, of course I know Hindi and Marathi because when you go to school there, everybody has to learn those too. So yes, for major language groups in meeting Indians, speaking English, I'm listening to him. He's telling me from Mumbai, and his accent in English is saying, no, you're not. And I was correct. Yes, I pick up those kind of things. Just like I told you, I could tell what the ethnic background was of the parents or the grandparents of the Israelis based on his accent in English. I mean, I only spent 4 years in Israel, and I listened carefully. hang on. Is Gujarati similar to, now we're going to change this. See, I'll get back to it. Similar to Tamil. Is Gujarati similar to Tamil? See, now this is the actual question. My therapist is a Gujarati speaking at home, but he was born in the South. Yes, he knows how to speak Tamil. He had to go to school there. But that's not what he spoke at home. Just like Dweep spoke Gujarati at home, but when he went to school, he had to do it in Hindi and Marathi. Have I ever had an apartment mate that was a Marathi speaker? Yes. Yes. Was his accent different than the previous roommate who was a Hindi speaker? Yes. Even though they were from the same city. Yes. It's like moving a Texan to Boston to think you wouldn't be able to pick them out. I said they're completely different language groups. No, Gujarati and Tamil are not similar. This is the AI overview. Gujarati is an Indo-Aryan language. That's what I told you, an Aryan language. And from the Indo-Aryan languages, through migration thousands of years ago, sprung up most of the European languages, where we are downstream Aryan speaking language group. No, Gujarati and Tamil are not similar. Gujarati is an Indo-Aryan language, while Tamil is a Dravidian language. It's a completely different language group, no similarity in vocabulary other than what they all share to be Indians together, if you understand that. This means they belong to different language families and are not related in any way. Back to the story. Those guys were in Vietnam. Why would I trust them? They're commies. These guys are in Gujarat, and they have 46 employees. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You know, I've worked with Gujaratis. You know, when I was in IT, I worked with Gujaratis. There's a big joke. Half of the people in Gujarat are named Patel. That's their family name. So when I go to my therapist every now and then, when I see a news item about Kashpatel, Kash Patel, do you think his family's Gujarati? See, I'm off the topic, right? So I say, look at what your cousin, like I say to him, look at what your cousin Kash Patel did this week. And he'd laugh. Kash Patel, how did Kash Patel's family get to the United States? Why don't I do this? Uganda. Kash Patel, Uganda parents. Now, I remember this. This was a big deal because some Israelis got killed there too at the same time. He is the son of Pramod Patel, a Ugandan of Indian descent who was among those who faced ethnic persecution and were expelled by Ugandan dictator Idi Amin in 1972. The Patels are a member of the Patidar community of Gujarat, were originally from the village of Badran in the Anand district. So even Gujarat, like, you know, one of the things I love about the Piedmont of North Carolina is I can pick out different accents. I can usually tell when somebody grew up in a Friends church versus a Baptist church. And heaven help me if I could actually find somebody who was a Catholic. We're all imitative, and we tend to imitate the people we spend the most time with, especially when we're young, learning to speak our language. And the people who are in the Friends community, the Quakers, have a different ethnic and linguistic and English background than Baptists and Methodists. And heaven help us, Catholics is a Catholic church in Nashville. There is, I know exactly where it is. In my hometown there were 3, but that was up north. See, I'm playing with this, folks. It's fun. I've paid attention to the people around me all my life. Always looking for, hopefully, the best in them. So this is a small company in Gujarat, and they've got 46 employees, and they've been infiltrated and reamed out with malware distribution behind their back, and they think they're smart. And I don't know if any of them are named Patel. Let's see if they'll let me see any of them. I have to sign in to see. Let's see how they pat themselves on the back. We at Mashiti come to work every day with one vision in mind, exceeding e-commerce excellence. Mashiti's was found based on providing the best Magento extensions, backdoored with malicious financial information stealing code in them that we didn't even know was there. Let's look at the third one. MGS. Marriott Global Sources. I doubt they are the ones. Automated packaging systems. Why don't we say MGS e-commerce? MGS online store. Stationary home cleaning, no. mgswebdesign.ie, e-commerce web design and development. If you're looking to sell products online, then MGS Web Design can help by integrating an e-commerce shopping cart into your website. There's also mgswebsourcing.com. And there's MGS Web Design IE. So why don't we take, hang on. LinkedIn. There it is, MGS Design. You see, I had to do a little extra. Architecture and planning. 2 to 10 employees, Cohasset, Massachusetts. Doesn't look like the one we want. MGS Design, LinkedIn, That's not the one I want. Old stone fabricators, no. Why can't I find them? Why aren't they easy to find? How would you find them if you needed the e-commerce? Oh, here it is. This is what MGS is. I should have read a little careful. Magna solution for Magna Cart. Best Magento 2 themes by MGS. Now, why did I go straying off like that? Because I'm showing you what it takes to be a detective, to figure things out. This is not very deep. And even though my mind strays around to different things, you notice that I still have come back to what the main topic was. This backdoor stuff that's stealing from your bank accounts because you were stupid enough to go to websites using these people's solutions. One of which is in Hanoi, another one in Gujarat, both of them with less than 50 employees, and which means they have absolutely no dedicated security person. Which is why Sansec was the one that had to inspect them and discover the common theme between these three people. The malware that they're selling. Sansec expectors. All right, now, let's see. 7 reactions, 4 days away. This is Sansec LinkedIn. They're talking about the ones they found. They're talking about in an article they posted to let the world know. And then I want to go just LINK and see if they have a profile. And the answer is no. See, I've done it, tried to do it 3 ways. The answer is no. Unless this is them here, right here. The Sansec came ahead of them. Magis Solution, AHT, e-commerce development company providing innovative solutions for superior quality to businesses. Okay, this is it. Magna Solution by AHT Tech, it's a holding company, has been so far known as a leading brand in offering professional Magento themes and extensions, we got them, as well as exclusive e-commerce solutions on the Magento platform from Adobe, Adobe Commerce. All our themes and extensions are excellent and are the most popular and favorite of our global clients. Pat themselves on the back. And you know where else these people are? They're in Hanoi like the first ones. They're commies. They have somewhere between 51 and 200 solutions, employees. They're just down the street from those other guys. Maybe they peek in each other's computers. Let's see if we can figure out where they are. Let's see if there's a street view in Hanoi. Yes, there is. I haven't done this before. Let's see if there's a street view in Hanoi. You know how I do it with the Israelis? This is a plaza. They're showing us this. This is the building they're in. They're renting a closet somewhere for the It looks like a modern building. I told you they're renting a little closet here. When you see something like this with those kind of inflections, I immediately know it's Vietnamese language. So this is the plaza nearby or the street nearby. Can't tell what building it's actually in. Yeah, Hanoi looks like it's a semi. Now wait a minute, you see this right here? MIT, but look at it, can you see it? Why do they do stuff like that? Why can't I scroll to the right? Now this is how the world is confusing. MITEC technology, they show a person's face, June 2016, and it's Korean. You recognize that as Korean, wouldn't you? Local guide level. Okay, so this is the guy who put the pictures up, and for some reason, he has put himself there using Korean. And that Korean is the same as Yeongdong. Which is in Korea. You can see Korea there, right? Where's Vietnam? Is Vietnam's over here somewhere, right? Down here. There, I know what that is. So Vietnam's down here. Yeah, there it is. There we go. There's Vietnam. You knew it was Vietnam there, didn't you? You see a ham radio operator starting as a teenager. You learn where all the countries are. So do you like the way I kind of pooped all over these people here? This guy here, Bo HD, he can put up anything he wants without any need for voting, and he picks these things out, and nobody else thought that that particular article on Bleeping Computer or anywhere else was that important. But as soon as it came up on Ars Technica 4 days later, he said, oh, this is really important. Now I'm going to say one more thing. If you're running an e-commerce site and you're buying stuff they put in there, even one piece that comes from Kami Hanoi, you're stupid. On the other hand, who said all the e-commerce sites are in Europe or the United States? Maybe their main customers are all over Asia and nobody bothered with them in the United States. But then the question would be, why would Ars Technica be bothering with it? And the answer is, what is Adobe e-commerce? What is Adobe e-commerce? Adobe Commerce, formerly known as Magento, that's what we're talking about, is a leading enterprise-grade e-commerce platform with both business to business and business to customer, that's what those abbreviations mean, businesses offering a wide range of features to build and manage online stores. It provides a comprehensive suite of tools and products, But who are their main customers? Are they European and America? Australia, Adobe UK, Singapore, aha, there we go. Most likely what we're talking about, this Adobe site doesn't match your location. Correct. It knows that I'm in the United States and I just hit Singapore. And I'm going to go Singapore. Stop screwing around with me and trying to push me over to the United States. I want to see who this person is. So did I guess right that most likely those commie Hanoi boys and girls and the Gujaratis are actually selling to e-commerce sites in places like Malaysia, Singapore, Korea, or maybe not Korea, Malaysia, Brunei, and like that? I'll bet you that's where it is, but I can't show it and prove it. Let's see if they say anything about it. See, it's really going on and on, but I learned. Pricing. Compare. They don't say anything about countries. All right, that doesn't do me any good. But whatever it is, they're only going to do marketing to you if you're in the correct Southeastern Asia commerce area. Otherwise, they would shunt you back to the United States or to the UK. This is the first time I went looking for that. I was pretty good. I think I was pretty good at guessing what's going on and who the customers are of those 3 companies that have been backdoored years ago and didn't know it. And all those e-commerce sites are their customers are having their bank accounts stolen blind for years. Because when you have a company of 51 people, you have no way of doing security, and you don't even do checksums on your own code. You don't understand that. That's okay. Steve A. for you, getting excited, enjoying it. Too bad, saying see you in 73.